mental health at such a level is so forget inaccessible, expensive, Neerja.
That's
क्या
somebody else was
मतलब मैं
telling me.
क्या करें हम? It's like, so I do, why are we doing this elaborate interview with you is because I do this thing called Mental Health Mondays, which I started during the pandemic, during COVID. And so we pick up a topic every Monday, and we generally get somebody, a therapist, a psychiatrist, psychologist to speak about it. So we thought that, we'll put you as part of that only. But every time I do it, I'm stymied by the fact कि हम कैसे लोगों को बोले get help. एक session अगर 5,000 का हो तो, I mean,
So we are not that expensive at all. Honestly, we're not.
Okay.
In fact, it's really strange. I joke with my team. So I've got 3 dogs at home.
जी.
And they're very expensive. Very expensive to just call a doctor or to, maintenance is really expensive.
Car or dog.
So even to get a groomer, for example, to send them for a grooming session, I mean, like just to cut the hair, or even to get a doctor home, is more expensive than going for a session at Empower. So I joke with my team. I say that to get my dog, the vet, is more expensive than taking a session at Empower.
And tell us, what is the distinction? How do people get in touch with you? Where do they go?
So, I mean, there is, for example, there's a helpline. You can get in touch on the helpline, or there are numbers which you can call and take an appointment directly if you want to go to the center or the foundation. So, you can just call up and take an appointment, and they'll, depending on what the age group is, they'll assign the therapist will be assigned, either the psychiatrist or the therapist, depending on what the need is.
All right. Suicide is the last straw, I suppose. Even like let's even I don't even like saying the numbers, but we've got some 1,64,033 Indians committed suicide in only 2021.
Yeah, very high figures.
1 in 10 people in India have a mental health issue. I really think 10 out of 10 is the right number.
Because we're all on a spectrum actually.
Yeah. कब लगने लगे कि अच्छा अब ना थोड़ा जैसे अगर बुखार होता तो मैं डॉक्टर के पास चला जाता, अब मेरे को जाना चाहिए एम्पावर या जहाँ पर भी मतलब थोड़ा दिमाग.
So I think, when it becomes detrimental to life or debilitating in your daily living, I think that's the final straw that, that अब तो खैर जाना ही है.
मतलब उठने में तकलीफ हो, रोजमर्रा के जो काम है जो आपको पसंद आते थे वो करने में तकलीफ हो, समझ नहीं आ रहा है.
जैसे बाहर पहले अगर दोस्तों से मिलने में मजा आता था, अब एकदम नहीं आता है, उसमें इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं रहा. जैसे बाहर जाने में इंटरेस्ट नहीं रहा, पूरे टाइम घर पे ही रहना है, किसी से मिलना नहीं है, नहाने में दिक्कत हो रही है, बिस्तर से उठ ही नहीं सकते हैं. Those are red flags. तब तो you have to take professional help for it. You're literally fighting it. You're fighting every single day, and that's really tiring, because if you imagine you have so much anxiety, you're coping with that anxiety, and then you're fighting with it every day, and then you're trying to get back into life and keep your work schedule on. It's tough. It's very, very tough.
So tell us about suicide prevention के लिए you've come up with something, but have you met people who you've said who are suicidal, or फिर आपको tell us about your experience उसके साथ in Hindi if you can.
Normally people don't like to talk about it, but in the course of your life, as you meet people, you sometimes meet people जिनके suicidal आजकल तो बहुत लोगों की suicidal tendencies होती हैं, बहुत. It's just
it's like chana, like
I think it's become quite very commonplace. बहुत common हो गया है. Like last year we heard of a couple of young children, लड़कियां who died by suicide, and that was very sad because they were like all of 18. Life was just about starting for them. Obviously they must have been highly either depressive or some mental health concern. I don't know what. So because to take your life, it's that 1 minute, but it takes a lot of guts. Honestly, I look at my own childhood and growing up, and now when my kids, there's a very big difference. I'm telling you, choice, the more, that's what I say, the more the choice, the more the exposure, the more overwhelmed you feel. You're all the time feeling overwhelmed. I have that feeling sometimes where I'm just all the time feeling overwhelmed, whether it's work, whether it's family. Work and family only for me. But it's I think it's a myth that you can get the right balance. You can't. At least I can't.
In terms of people that you see who are joyous, or अरे ये तो कितना खुश रहा करता था, this is, I can't even, you cannot tell. Like right now, if I'm a depressive person, I just want to say that I'm not, but at least not at this point in my life. But I'm saying if I am, would you be able to tell? क्या आप actually बता सकते हैं?
It may not be a constant state.
Correct.
Right. So, I mean, maybe at this point, maybe you have a depressive illness, but maybe you're not depressed at this point in time. Just because you have a depressive illness doesn't make you a depressed individual.
पर डिप्रेस्ड इंडिविजुअल का डिप्रेस्ड लगना जरूरी है ऐसा
Not
जरूरी
at
नहीं है ना
all,
तो
no.
मतलब इट कुड बी कि समवन जो
Of
जॉयस
course.
लगता है कल परसों आपको सुनाई दिया कि दिस पर्सन हैज
Of
यू नो
course, of course.
डाइड बाय सुसाइड
Of course. Because so that's what I say. I truly believe that everyone has their own stories to tell. And, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. Facades are very, what should I say, very delusional. You can...
मतलब correct. So is there any advice that you might have for people just generally like this whole conversation that we're having in your personal lives कि आप एक individual हैं before you even perhaps get professional help, how can people around that person आपकी कैसी मदद कर सकते हैं?
So I think if you have a family around you who is supportive, that really helps a lot. Because they are the one, your family and your close friends need to understand what you're going through. You know, because very often for the person who is going through a depressive episode or is anxious may not be able to always talk about it. So it's for the people around to pick up on those signs and then lend their support. And support doesn't necessarily have to be that, okay, come sit and talk to me. For example, if I've always been, exuberant kind of a person and always wanting to go out, for example, right? And suddenly you go through a phase and I'm realizing that, you're not wanting to step out as much as you would, for example, or you're not as talkative as you used to be, then it's for me to also pick up, if I'm close to you, that, okay, then maybe there is a slight something that she's going through and maybe I just need to be there for her more. Make that extra effort and maybe check in on you. Are you okay? Or what are you doing? Or, why don't you go out? Let's step out. I can make that extra effort to make you feel loved. I think at that point in time, what the person wants, he wants that sense of belonging. He wants to know that he is loved.
I also really want to implore क्योंकि आजकल के ज़माने में ऐसा हो गया कि हर एक कोई किसी न किसी चीज़ से जूझ रहा है. It's okay to ask for help. Maybe you don't have a supportive family. Maybe your friends are not the best. Everyone's in their own space right now. Maybe at a point जहाँ पर आपको सचमुच ज़रूरत है आप बोल ना पाए. But find it because there are people who are willing to help. If it's not your immediate family and friends, there are professionals like say an Empower. Find that space because from all the conversations जो मैं लोगों के साथ करती जाती हूँ ना, ये हम most likely it is depression is something that is physiologically going wrong with you. या फिर जहाँ पर maybe counseling, maybe medication, but something will help ताकि आप उस चरम तक ना पहुँचे where you feel कि life is not worth living.
अगर आपको ऐसे लग रहा हो कि मुझे ऐसे खराब लग रहा है, मुझे मेरे ध्यान में ऐसे सुसाइड के थॉट्स आ रहे हैं, अगर आप उस वक्त कोई भी हेल्पलाइन, एम्पावर हेल्पलाइन को फोन करें, वो 5 मिनट की कॉन्वर्सेशन में there have been so often our counselors on the helpline have been able to change people's mind.
So is this a time when you'd like to give us a number? क्योंकि Empower का number है which says need to talk or chat with our qualified psychologists.
Yes, so it's a 24/7 line and you can call anytime on 1-800-120-820-050. And I'll repeat that for you. It's 1-800-120-820-050. You
can also get in touch with them on empowerminds.com/chat. That's on WhatsApp, huh?
हाँ. And आप chat भी कर सकते हैं because a lot of times people just like to chat. So even if you don't feel like talking, if you just start chatting with somebody, even that will help you just divert your mind and it can really make a difference of a life.
I love this one. This is the first icon says free of cost. That caught my eye. Because the most important thing is paisa iske liye. I hope mental health becomes more affordable in time. We really need that because...
No, but seriously, I mean, a lot of our sessions are free. Our helpline is free of cost. Chat is free of cost. Foundation is very subsidized. A lot of stuff we're doing is pro bono.
Do you call to check on them to see if they're doing a good job?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I'm going to call this line and see kya bataoge. Thank you, Neerja. I've had a wonderful time chatting with you and learning so much about you.
Red FM 93.5